Hi, my name is Adrienne Hall, and I am an assistant teaching professor in the Culinary Arts Department here at Drexel University, and I'm also an alum of the School of Education. Welcome to the 4th annual Global Night of Networking. So I think the first thing that we should do is we should make a drink. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get some ginger. This is just a fresh knob of ginger. When you get it in the supermarket, it looks like this. It has a nice sort of light color, and that indicates that it's rather young ginger. It shouldn't be hard or woodsy. So first thing I'm going to do is just going to get the flat of the knife, and I'm going to smash it. Smashing that releases flavors and oils. Then I'm just going to get this Gala apple and a Granny Smith apple and do a small dice. I like the Granny Smith for a little bit of tartness, and the Galas are a little bit more sweet. Okay. I like cocktails that are very balanced. So what I like to do is I like to make a base, and then you can sort of choose your liqueur. Today we're going to use Buffalo Trace Kentucky Straight Bourbon, but this would work really well with wine too. I'm sorry, with tequila or rum. So I'm just going to kind of muddle this a little bit, sort of get all those flavors mixed with the maple syrup, the apples, and the ginger. And then I'm going to add a little bit of water. I have mineral water here, but you don't necessarily need mineral water. If you like the taste of your tap water, just go ahead and use that. Stir this around. And then plenty of fresh lemon juice. Okay. And I want to just give it a taste, see if I like the mix. And I do. It's just a tiny bit sweet. So I'm going to just put a little water in there. To me, the drink tastes best really cold. And also the ice plays an important part. It's the dilution that sort of lets all the flavors of your spirit come out. So this is a pretty nice bourbon. I'm going to do just a little bit shy. Okay. I'm going to pour this. I want to give it a quick stir. Okay. And then I'm just going to rim the glass a little bit. This is such a small step, but I think it makes a world of difference. So you can use any zest that you're putting into your cocktail. Lemon zest, grapefruit, blood orange is beautiful this time of year. And then I'm going to try to get a little squeeze out of it. And you just give the zest a little twist, and the oils will come out. So it'll leave this sort of very fresh bit of tartness and flavor. Next thing is I'm going to start with a mushroom bruschetta. We've all seen bruschetta before. So I like to clean the mushroom. This is a Portabella, and they were actually made in our area. They're from Kennett Square, PA. I like to peel the top off. I just feel like it makes it look a little bit nicer. You could cook this in a pan, or you could just put it in the oven. Normally, though, what I do first is I season it. With mushrooms, you need plenty of salt. So I have some coarse ground kosher salt here. And I'm going to put just a tiny bit of shallot on it. Shallot is an allium, just like onions. And onions, garlic, chives, and it just gives a nice subtle flavor. So this is just going to go into the oven. I already roasted a portobello, so I'm just going to cut it down. Going to do some strips. I like to. They taste great when they're nice big meaty strips like that, but I'm going to put it on a bruschetta. So I want to make sure that if I have little bites, that way you can bite into it. You don't have to worry about not biting through that last bit of mushroom. So I'm just going to put that right here. I pre-toasted some rustic bread, and I'm just going to get a bit of creme fraiche, some Romano cheese, and a little bit of blue cheese. Just kind of mix it together. Okay, so I'm just going to get a little bit of this on the spoon, put it on the bread, top it with some of the mushrooms. Okay. Starting to smell really good already. Now, it's really easy to do this in the food processor, but I wanted to show you that you could, sometimes it's harder to take out the food processor and wash it and put it back. So you can just use a wooden spoon and just kind of pummel it a little bit. It's already starting to take form. Okay. And also, you don't necessarily have to cook the beans if you take out the food processor. I just think it gives a lot more flavor. Okay. And this one is healthy. Okay. Flavor this up a little bit with some lemon. Okay. And if you don't want to use lemon, you could use a little red wine vinegar. Sherry vinegar will be a wonderful addition. And this time we did, even though it's in a plastic bottle, we are cooking with some extra virgin premium olive oil. Because we didn't take it to high heat, we probably preserved most of the flavor compounds in the olive oil. And we're also going to finish this with some olive oil. Just kind of emulsify that in there. Give it a deep, rich flavor. In culinary school, they taught us not to fry in olive oil because it has a low smoke point. But as you leave school and you cook and you go back to things your grandmother taught you, you realize you can break all these rules. It's just you need to know why you're breaking them. And also, olive oil has so many health benefits. And after consuming all the creme fraiche, we'll need some healthy fat. Okay. All right, so just gonna pile this in here. You can serve this slightly warm. You could serve it chilled. In In fact, if you make it the day before, the flavors meld. It just tastes best at room temperature. In fact, with many different foods, most foods, the flavors are fully developed at room temp. So, okay. I'm going to put some olives and some herbs on top. This is just parsley. And I've got some marjoram in here too. It's very rustic. And some olives, calamatas. So for the crudité, you can, crudité can be just basically celery, carrots, cherry tomatoes, but I like to add a little bit more flavor to it. So here we have some carrots I cut. I cut them, I sprinkled them with salt, and I'm going to put some lemon juice on them. I think it tastes so much better with just the addition of lemon juice and salt. It tastes better, carrots plain, it tastes better when you have the carrots in the dip. Much more palatable. Okay. And also it kind of makes them look a little bit brighter. Okay. So toss these, make sure they're coated. Okay. But I'm going to start first with the celery. So I cut this earlier, and I use the hearts first because I think that they taste best. They're so tender. I'm going to lay them down, okay, and then I'm going to sort of heap up the other sticks kind of on top of them. The carrots, just going to lay them. Okay. I also did some potatoes earlier. I just cooked them until they were fork tender. As soon as they got out of the hot water, I sprinkled some herbs and a tiny bit of vinegar and apple cider vinegar and a tiny bit of salt so that they have some flavor. Okay. Okay. And last but not okay. Okay. And last but not least, I have some heirloom cherry tomatoes. It's nice now, you can go to almost any grocery store and get these tasty little heirloom cherry tomatoes when they used to be such a specialty item. Okay. Thanks so much for joining me today.